What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and more. Before I get started, we're going to give you a word from one of our sponsors.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
You heard it straight from the spokesperson's mouth. You need online marketing promotions. Check out Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. You need SEO, press releases, playlist pitching, TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers, blog placements, and much, much more. Please check out promopalace.biz. Also, don't forget the video version of my podcast is uploaded to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, Rumble, and also take the video and I will stream it live on 3 of the Twitter accounts after I record this video. So definitely follow me on Rumble because the video is monetized already, unlike YouTube, which requires 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. All right, let me pull up some NBA scores from last night. And I didn't go over the games before that either, so I'm going to go over those two as well. So Milwaukee beat Boston in game 1, 101-89. Chris Middleton is out still, but Giannis, he still got a legit starting five. Drew Holiday, Wesley Matthews, Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis gave you 15 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. What more do you ask from a guy that comes off the bench and starts? 15, 11, double-double. 24, 13, and 12 from Giannis with 2 blocks. Yeah, 5 turnovers, but 13 rebounds and 12 assists. Triple-double. Brook Lopez gave you 6 and 10. He didn't score much, but he gave you 10 rebounds with 3 blocks and 1 steal. You know, that's the thing, man. The Boston Celtics can clamp down on defense, but so can the Milwaukee Bucks. And Milwaukee Bucks are longer and taller. You got 25 out of Drew Holiday, 5 assists and 9 rebounds, almost a double-double with 3 steals to go along. Wesley Matthews had a steal. Grayson Allen had 3 steals off the bench with 11 points. Grayson Allen, I'm not a fan of Duke players at all, but he's one of the better Duke players in the league right now. I mean, he really is. He's asserting himself right now. He's probably going to be the next JJ Redick, man. You know, he's still young. He's only been in the league like, 3 years, I think? 2-3 years? You got 8 points from Pat McConnell, and then we go to Boston. You got 21 from Jason Tatum, but he shot 33%. You know, Al Horford, 4 for 11, 12 points, 36%. That's the thing. They just missed a lot of shots, man. Jaylen Brown, 12 points, 7 turnovers. That's not good. And missed a lot of shots, 30%. Marcus Smart, 27% shooting. Grant Williams off the bench, 33. They just had a bad shoot night, 25, 33, 33. I'm thinking, man, like this is going to be a long series, I'm thinking that Boston is going to figure out, they're going to adjust. I don't think they're going to all shoot 30% or lower next game, except for, of course, Robert Williams. But he only took 6 shots. He only had 6 points, 8 rebounds. Yes, Milwaukee won the first game, which is on the road But I'm thinking Boston probably wins next game. And if they don't, series is over. You go down 0-2 on the and you got to go back to the other team's home. You're done for. Man, hold up. So Golden State beat Memphis in game 1 by a point. Ja Morant missed a layup at the end. It was a very bad shot. They were ready for it. They knew where it was coming. This is why I think not having veteran experience is going to hurt the Memphis Grizzlies. Not having that veteran experience is really going to hurt them. Klay Thompson put up 15 points, 17 from Wiggins, 24 from Curry, 31 from Jordan Poole. And before I get into this Jordan Poole thing, Jaren Jackson had 33 points. I mean, he did his thing. 34 from Ja Morant. Really, it was Desmond Bain had an off night. He shot 30%, 3 for 10. And Dillon Brooks. If Dillon Brooks and Desmond Bain hit their shots, they win this game. They win this game. But the fact that they didn't, and that last shot that Ja Morant took, veteran experience might hurt him in this series. The lack of, because there's no veterans on the starting 5. The only veteran is coming off the bench, and he hasn't even played this series yet, and that's Steven Adams. But let's get back to the Warriors. Jordan Poole, 31 points, 9 assists and 8 rebounds. One assist and 2 rebounds off of a triple-double. Warriors have got a good problem right now. This is what you call a good problem, because they got to make decisions soon. Jordan Poole at this point is better than Klay Thompson. I said it. I'm pointing in the camera. I'm saying it. I'm calling it. Jordan Poole right now at this point is better than Klay Thompson. Going into next year, Jordan Poole should be starting next to Steph Curry. If you want to move Klay Thompson to small forward, that's fine. Wiggins the power forward, Draymond is center. Hey, I don't know how you want to do it, but they got to figure something out, because I'm going to tell you right now, they got a good problem. And Klay Thompson being the asset he is, they could trade Klay Thompson and get something nice back for Klay Thompson. They really could. They could get some nice pieces of assets that could help them. They got Jonathan Kuminga, who's going to be pretty good. They probably got to trade Wiggins. To be honest with you, they probably got to trade Wiggins next year on the offseason, because he's got a big contract. And I don't know if he's a free agent coming up soon or when he is, but they got a good problem, man. They got a good problem, because Jordan Poole is ascending, man. And they're comparing him to Steph Curry. So if you guys do 2 Steph Currys in the backcourt right now, I mean, you still got Gary Payton II coming off the bench, Otto Porter Jr., Jonathan Kuminga, Toscano Anderson. I mean, the Warriors are looking good, and they could easily win this year. Okay, last night's games, you had Miami and Philly. This game was interesting to me, the Miami-Philly game. Miami won, but this is why it was interesting. Joel Embiid didn't play. And if Tyrese Maxey and James Harden just hit more shots, they just hit more shots, they're in this game. You got 27 from Tobias Harris, 19 from Maxey, who shot 40%, 38% from James Harden. If you get just like 20% more of these shots, and I mean, Shake Milton hit 33. I mean, it was a bad shoot night for even the bench players. They all shot 33% in their shots. Danny Green was 33%. Danny Green hits more of his threes. It's a different game. Tobias Harris was 1 for 4 for threes. That's the thing. They didn't hit none of their threes. They were very terrible threes. 1 for 6 from Maxey, 2 for 7 from Harden, 1 for 4 from Tobias, 1 for 5 from Danny Green. Those shots go in, it's a different game. And Joel Embiid didn't play. If Joel Embiid was in playing this series, I would have to favor the Sixers. Bam had his way. Tyler Hero had his way, but Jimmy Butler only had 15 points, 31% shooting, 5 for 16. I mean, he didn't do much. Gabe Vincent was 4 for 12, 33%. Max Strauss was 2 for 8, 25. See, they didn't even hit some of their shots. So if the Sixers actually just hit their threes more, even like, oh, my bad, hold up. George Nang was 0 for 7 off the bench for threes. I mean, they hit their threes. This game is totally different. If the Sixers could just win one game and then Embiid comes back for the game 3, they still got a chance. Without Embiid, they have no chance. Phoenix and Dallas. Phoenix won. Luka had a crazy night. Luka put up 45, 8, and 12 on 50% shooting at 36% from threes, but 50% from the field, I mean, is 50% from the field. We got 15 from Dorian Finney-Smith. Jalen Brunson, he missed a lot of shots. He was 37% on 6 for 16. Jalen Brunson hits more of his shots. They win this game. And they just hit more threes. They hit more threes, and Jalen Brunson hits the shots. They could possibly win this game. Luka is going to have to – that's the thing. This is the problem. Luka is going to have to do that every single night, especially if Jalen Brunson isn't hitting his shots. If he's shooting 37% on 16 shots, that ain't good. Spencer Dinwiddie took 3 for 8, 37%, 2 for 4 from 50% from threes, but still, man, it's going to be tough. Bridges, I mean, you had a well-balanced attack from the Suns, man. 13 from Bridges, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 11 from Crowder, 8 rebounds, 25 from DeAndre Ayton, 8 rebounds, 23 from Booker, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Chris Paul, 19, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, Booker did a lot of the facilitating, it looked like. And then you had 17 from Cameron Johnson, one of the Cams, 17 and 5 off the bench. You know, you got 30 points off the bench. Cameron Johnson, Carolina, Tar Heel, did his thing, 6 for 10, 60% shooting. The only one that didn't shoot too well was Devin Booker. He was 35% on 20 shots. I mean, if he hits more of his shots, this game is really out the water. Dallas Mavericks, man, they might get swept. It's just going to take too much from Luka. And you're going to need Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie to show up every single night. Every single night. So, yep. This is not looking good for Dallas. Not looking good for Dallas. Golden State, Memphis. I think Memphis could win next game. They really could. They had 2 players that shot terribly awful. 2 of their key players. Their second and third leading scorers. I think it could be more of a dogfight, but veteran experience might hurt them in the end. Miami and Philly is interesting. Philly just hits their threes, man. Like, wow. Like, this game is totally different. Totally different without Joel Embiid. And that's the thing. Joel Embiid is out. I mean, he was leading scorer of the whole NBA. The NBA leading scorer is out for them. So there's that. And Boston, Milwaukee is going to be interesting. I think that's going to be a dogfight. But I would not be surprised if 3 or 4 of these series is sweeps, though. If Golden State was a sweep Memphis, I wouldn't be surprised. Phoenix and Dallas wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if both of those were sweeps. because Memphis is just no veteran experience, and Lucas just doesn't have enough around him. And same thing with these other ones, man. I mean, Joel Embiid being out, Miami could easily sweep Philly. In Boston, I mean, yeah, their defense is rough, rugged, and raw, but Giannis is the best player in the world right now, man. So there's that. All right, let me pull up, see if there's any NFL news to go over real quick. And then I want to get to my top 10. Oh, Cardinals wide receiver Hopkins suspended 6 games for PEDs. Whoa. Normally when you see that, it's because dudes are having injuries and they're trying to still stay at that level. This ain't good for the Cardinals. I can tell you that much. One thing I noticed about, like, I went over the draft first 2 rounds, and I'm far from an expert, but when I watched the experts go over it, I was on the money, man. Detroit Lions had a good draft. Jets had a real good draft. I was on the money, man, on who had real good drafts. You know, I mean, I said the Jets had in my opinion, a good draft, based on how sorry they were and what they really needed to get better. And the Lions apparently had a pretty good draft from what people said, and the Ravens had a good draft, And, and Tyrann Mathieu signs with the Saints. Interested to see, because Saints made some good moves. It's really all about Jameis Winston, man, at this point. Going forward, man, he's got pieces. You got Alvin Kamara, you got Michael Thomas coming back, and he drafted a wide receiver. So, yeah, the NFL is going to be very, very interesting. There's going to be a lot of parity. I mean, the AFC is moves. Denver did so great on the offseason. I mean, Denver upgraded. The Colts upgraded. The Browns upgraded. The Bengals made some moves to probably sustain what they are. The Dolphins upgraded. The Bills got a tad bit better on defense. I mean, it's just really all about Josh Allen and offense going forward, and that defense sustaining, man. The Patriots really didn't do too good. The Cowboys is like, what are you thinking? But a lot of teams in the AFC really did good. I mean, even Jacksonville, we still got to see what they are with Trevor Lawrence coming in his second year and what he had to deal with Urban Meyer and the whole Tim Tebow thing at first, and also the the running back that was drafted with him in the first round from Clemson. He didn't play all last year because he got hurt. The Eagles upgraded with A.J. Brown. Packers downgraded. I mean, there's a lot of teams that didn't make too great of moves. I'm still confused on Carolina. I hope we ain't thinking Matt Corral is the future. I mean, unless we start Matt Corral right now, what the hell, man? Sam Darnold is not it. Is not it. And the Rams, I mean, they look like they can win it again next year. All right, let me go with my top 10 TV shows of all time. First thing before I go to this list, I will let you know there's no comedy, no sitcoms on this. I don't think a sitcom can be a top 10 TV show of all time. And this is why. It doesn't have no suspense or drama. There's nothing on a sitcom that says, oh my God, I can't wait to see the next episode. The way the last episode ended, oh my God, I can't wait to see the next episode of a sitcom. It's going to be so crazy. And no, when I think of what makes a great show is I think about this last episode of Snowfall, which I didn't realize was the last episode of the season. Now I'm so disappointed because the last episode of Snowfall was just so crazy of what happened at the end. And just to give a spoiler alert, who anybody ain't watch it, last episode of Snowfall, Franklin robs Jam and Jerome and Louie for all that dope and money because they ain't try to help him after he got them in the game and put them with a position where they're at. And then he also tells the dude that Louie had the cop try to kill, that Louie set him up. So I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, next episode is going to be crazy as hell. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so crazy. And then come to find out that was the last episode of that season. So now I'm just like, wow, next season is going to be all out war. And that's how a TV show, when I think of a top 10 TV show, that's how it should be. So I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to move my way from the top. And this is no specific order, but top 10 TV shows. This one is actually a true story, but it was still like, oh man, it's crazy amazing. And it had two versions of it, so I'm including two versions of it. Kind of like, and this is another thing. Before I get into this, yes, I'm a Law and Order fan, but I do not consider Law and Order especially not SVU, as one of these top 10 TV shows of all time, because how many pedophiles and pervs can you see? I don't sit there and be like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens with the next pedophile and perv show on SVU. And I prefer probably the original Law and Order over SVU, even though they're both good. But there's never been an episode of Law and Order that's been like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the next episode of what happens. So there's that. So first one, Narcos. True story, but amazing show, man. Amazing show. And I'm including Narcos and Narcos Mexico because they're really one show with two versions. And it's all the same story spin-off. Narcos was amazing, gave you more insight of I think one thing I really loved about Narcos is that Carlos Quintero, I think that was his name, Rafa Carlos Quintero, was the guy who invented seedless marijuana. And seedless marijuana was really, in the Narcos Mexico, really what brought these different narco factions together. You had Sinaloa and Juarez and Tijuana, and brought them all together was the seedless weed at first. And forever, people had just sticks and stems in a weed, and this guy, out of Sinaloa, a poor ass town at that time, and probably got a lot more money now because of the narco money, but invented it. So that was interesting, for me. And then it's true story, So Narcos is one of my top 10. Ozark is one of my top 10s. Ozark has been pretty amazing. Really pretty amazing. And a lot of these shows, don't get me wrong, a lot of these shows have a lot in common. A lot of them have drug dealers or kingpins or gangsters, or but that's what makes them so great and so dramatic, because there's just always a lot of crazy drama happening. So Ozark is one of them. Ozark is definitely like more of a Mexican cartel kind of redneck trailer park trash version of the drug cartel aspect, because Ozark is in the middle of freaking nowhere and in Missouri, and if I'm not mistaken, and it's a very good show, very interesting. Definitely has you like, oh my God, can't wait to see what happens in the next show. All the characters are casted very well. That's another thing about these shows that make them so great. The cast, the characters have to be able to make it believable and pull it off as well. Another one on my list is Breaking Bad. Very interesting show. Chemistry teacher turns into the biggest or the best meth maker on the planet, basically. And that's the thing about quality. Quality always wins in every business. And I think that's what's so interesting about Breaking Bad. And it goes to show you that quality always is number one. You know, like if you want a good burger, you got to go pay for a good burger. You don't go to McDonald's and Burger King and get those cheap cuts of meat. You know, if you want a good quality burger, you're going to pay more for it. And yeah, you might have been paying more for their meth, but their quality was so crazy and would have people so addicted. And it was just always drama, man, from like first episode on, man. Like once the drama started, it didn't stop. And that's what makes a great TV show to me. Once it starts, it never stops. And like, I mean, the cast was great. Jesse Pinkman character was so great. I mean, it was just great. Snowfall is another one on my list, and I used him as an example earlier. Snowfall, which is also based on true story, is really supposed to be based off of the real Rick Ross. And of course, all these TV shows add a little bit of extra coating to it, a little bit of icing on the top, sugarcoat it a little bit, because you can't tell. Sometimes you can't just give the exact names and locations of some of these things where they happen. You can put people in jeopardy of, because some of these people might be like in witness protection and stuff like that. When you talk about like Narcos, which is a true story, and Snowfall, I'm pretty sure there's some characters off the Rick Ross story that might still be in witness protection. But Snowfall is very interesting because it goes into the CIA when they funded the Nicaragua communist wars with cocaine through California, through Oakland and South Central LA and stuff like that. Definitely a lot of the names are not legit, and some of the stuff is over exaggerated, but the main theme of the CIA selling coke to fund the war was definitely legit. Game of Thrones. Who doesn't like dragons and things of that nature? Game of Thrones was a very good TV show. Cast was very great. All the cast did very, very well. Definitely was one of those shows that had me wanting to see what happened next. Basically, kind of story of a dragon queen that comes back to claim her ancestors' thrones. She's basically her ancestors are like, they got this, I guess, I don't know if it's the blood of the dragons or whatever, but they can't be burnt. They can walk through fire. She could ride dragons. And then also kind of like a zombie kind of thing in it too, where this Ice King kind of brings back dead and stuff. It's very, very cool show. Very cool. I've always been into knights and stuff like that, movies with knights and things like that. This one, yes, it's probably not so realistic. I mean, because I don't, and who knows, dragons might have existed at one point. I mean, I don't know if there's been any proof or if it's just some mythological creature or whatnot. But if dinosaurs existed, how do we know dragons ever existed? Another one on my list, Chicago PD. I know some are probably saying, why do I got Chicago PD and not Law and Order? Because Chicago PD is just way more dramatic than Law and Order. Hank Voight and the cast are just way more going on over there. It's way more interesting. I mean, like Hank Voight literally killed his son's murderer. I don't know that as much as Benson and Stabler are, like Stabler was off the chain sometimes with beating up people. I don't know how much revenge he would have really got with killing his because I think somebody killed his wife, if I'm not mistaken, and he didn't get too much. I don't know if he killed that guy. But yeah, Chicago PD. And plus it's Chicago. Chicago is just way more dramatic than New York because of the gang violence. And it's not, that's the thing. When you get the SVU, they're just pervs and pedophiles. Chicago PD is pretty much everything. Gang banging, pervs, pedophiles, drug dealers. It's very, very versatile with it. And just the character, Hank Voight, his character is just, he plays it to a T. And that's another thing that makes these shows is certain characters just got to stand out too. Like Snowfall, the Dragon Queen was like, oh my gosh. Every dude and every chick that liked chicks was in love with her. I mean, she's so hot. She was ruthless too, you know. So Chicago PD is definitely on my list. One of the most realistic TV shows I've seen. Another one, and this is these four right here, the last four are probably my top four of all time. And one of them is The Wire, which I'm actually watching again right now. About to binge watch The Wire again right now. The Wire is based out of Baltimore, and it kind of just shows you the drug trade in Baltimore and how it is, and it's so realistic. It really is. And I just love the reference of in there about Pee Wee Matthews, who's from Durham, North Carolina, and I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Pee Wee Matthews is really big in Durham history. I mean, he was one of the only black drug dealers to have a direct line into the French Connection, which they have a big reference of them into the Godfather of Harlem, which is probably going to be number 11 on my list, the Godfather of Harlem. Let me give Godfather of Harlem a honorable mention right now. It'd probably be number 11 on my list and could possibly move in. But Godfather of Harlem didn't always have me. Like, there was some episodes I was just like, eh. But for the most part, it's a really good show. It's a really good show. But back to my top 10. Sopranos. Sopranos could be one of my top two of all time. It might be in my top two. I don't know that it's my number one. I can't say it's my number one because the number one was my most invested TV show ever. But Sopranos really set the trend for a lot of these drama TV shows. New Jersey mob scene, New York mob scene. Everybody loves mob movies. Everybody. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic. People just always love mob movies. Even if you don't agree with that lifestyle, we've always been infatuated with for some reason, American culture, we are infatuated with gangsters and gangster movies. And I guess it's, it seems like a cool thing to be, you know what I'm saying, in the movies or whatnot, till you really think about it, till you're dead there in jail. Because when you watch all these mob movies and stuff, and these mob, like, what was it? What was that one mob movie? The Irishman. You watch the Irishman, like everybody they name, they show you like when they died or how they died. Like all of them get whacked out and killed, or they go to prison. So Sopranos set the tone. But these last two TV shows kind of correspond with each other. Definitely love these TV shows. I'm highly invested into these TV shows. And one is The Mayans, and the other is Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy has been the most invested TV show I've ever been in. Like, I had to watch Sons of Anarchy every episode, every week. It was just the first episode of Sons of Anarchy. Like, he literally goes to a convenience store to buy papers and rubbers, and notices a explosion out of the window of the convenience store. And the explosion is a building where Sons of Anarchy is storing their guns, where the Mexicans done broke in and stole guns and blew up the rest. So instantly it starts out with they're at war with the Mexicans, the Mexican biker gangs. And they automatically got cops covering it up. working on. It's just like the first episode, you could automatically just see where it's about to go. Like, whoa, like, you know, it was the most, and I think why I was so big on Sons of Anarchy is because you got the Italian mob movies, you got the urban gangster movies, you got the cartel movies, but one or TV shows or whatever, but you never really had the outlaw biker movie or TV show that was just really big. And because you never really had that aspect. And, you know, just seeing the outlaw biker world, it's just like, wow. It's amazing. And then, you know, their rules are a lot deeper and disciplined or organized than a lot of these gangs too, you know. And it is just interesting how, like, you know, you can't go anywhere without your patch. You can't go in the club without your patch. You ride it. You got to ride places by yourself, and you can't take off your patch. And things might happen with other biker clubs. You might roll up on them, and it is what it is because it's the, you know, and that's the thing. You got motorcycle clubs, and then you got the biker gangs. You know, motorcycle clubs are just got a bunch of old white guys or old black dudes that ride bikes together, you know. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting because you don't really have that take the biker aspect of the outlaw world, the gang world. So Sons of Anarchy and Mayans are two of my top ones. I mean, the new season of Mayans literally started with the Mayans beefing, you know, one group of Mayans beefing with the other, and you literally got like 100 Mayans at the gates trying to tear it down to attack like 20 dudes, you know, and they survived through it, you know. They survived through it. It was just, it's one of the most dramatic TV shows ever, man. Kurt Sutter is the guy who does Sons of Anarchy and Mayans. He also did The Shield, if I'm not mistaken, and he's done a great job, man. All his TV shows are super successful. But yeah, this is my top 10, man. Sons of Anarchy, Mayans, Sopranos, The Wire, Chicago PD, Games of Thrones, Snowfall, Breaking Bad, Ozark, and Narcos. And honorable mentions, I will say Godfather of Harlem. I'll throw in Walking Dead, and I will throw in Law and Order. That's probably my top 13 all time. And I just can't put a sitcom in there because there's no drama. It's not like, oh my God, did you hear that joke he said at the end of the last, you know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I can't wait to see what jokes he says next one. Are you kidding me? Get out of here with that shit. Crazy. All right, before we get out of here, I'm going to give you a word from another one of our sponsors.
Me and my team, whenever we link up, they wanna be drink up. We sit down, relax and have few glasses when there's things to think about. Like I'm nice with the boss when I tend to the bars and I'm not talking drink ups. So tell the bartender that's tending the bar to please pass me a big cup up. And tell that waitress that's waiting on us to put a little ice in it. Now watch the ice become weightless like the spaceships that I be sitting in. Now wait and listen, no, they're waiting for that tropical twist that'll tickle your taste buds. Now tell you some, yo, I insist it's the Drizzle.
Do you dizzle? Yes, I dizzle. I got a bottle in there on top of my refrigerator right now. Check out dizzlebrand.com. Mixture of agave tequila, cognac, orange liquor, mango mix. You go order the Dizzle Brand merchandise on the Dizzle Brand store. They got hats, hoodies, and t-shirts. Also, if you want to order your very own bottle of Dizzle Brand premium luxury liqueur, go to dizzlebrand.com, click on our locations, click the top 3 links, and you can order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle. Make sure you're 21 and over. And of course, at the end of that commercial, the guy holding up the glass with the lime in it, that was Mike Dizzle, the creator of Dizzle Brand, which was created back in 2001 and officially been bottled now for almost a year. So shouts out to Mike Dizzle. Shouts out to Dizzle Brand, Black-owned business. Shouts out to my guy, Chris Roker, mentor and friend. And shouts out to Livio Harris, owners of DizzleBrand.com. Check them out. Do you Dizzle? Yes, I Dizzle. You see it below. Also, don't forget that the audio version of my podcast goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. This was episode 138. We're about 40 minutes in. We try to keep these below an hour. That way I don't got to cut them up in 2 pieces to stream them on my Twitters and whatnot. So once again, follow me on all those platforms. And we're going to end with a Paul Pickett podcast commercial. This your boy, the one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett podcast, a.k.a. Triple P, a.k.a. the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, sport events, and more. Please check me out 3 to 4 days a week on my video podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. And check out the audio version on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much more. Peace. See you there. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Peace, and I'm out.